Okay, RV. Not like I don't have enough other things going on right now, but I'm a little bit OCD, as you know, right? So here's the idea. There's Smart Sailboat. And so it's going to be this boat or another boat that we basically go through top to bottom and play on upgrading the deck and then just document it. Really simple. You know, there's smart homes, smart cars. Why not do a smart sailboat? I think there's going to be enough of a following of that just on the different pieces of equipment, right? Why I say that is I grew up in commercial fishing. And in commercial fishing, there's a lot of equipment. And in the old days, it used to be called maps, right? And then as things progressed, there was more and more equipment required on the boat. And the equipment doesn't necessarily talk to each other. You follow? Like the old stuff just doesn't talk to each other. And the new world is going to be that everything intercommunicates. You have some kind of network hub, and then it talks to each other. So what I'm doing here is I never took this video intending to record it. That's the problem. So it's going to look all herky jerky. But this was, I got up into the cockpit of the boat there, and I can see that number one, 2 thumbs up. It has a EPIRB. So what is that? That is the emergency broadcast thing. You got to have it on a boat, because if you don't, you're stuck in the middle of nowhere, right? Nobody knows that you're sinking. So that's the thing you pull out and you grab and you make sure that it goes off. So it sends a signal off to satellite and says, gentlemen, we have a problem. Please go here because this guy's stuck. You see this boat's, yeah, it's a Mayday. Yeah, my mom's here on the side. So what you're looking at on the inside of the boat is, I've been doing this camera show, I was looking for all the rot, but actually, you know, basically got down at one point to look at the engine time. I just want to walk you through some of the stuff that's in a boat just to have you think about this, RV, because this is not your expertise, right? Okay, so, you know, this is a panel where you've got the amperage, you've got the voltage coming in from a solar. So lots of boats will have solar on the roof, and then they're trying to charge the battery. This thing here is an indicator of status of the battery, the overload, the AC input. And you got, you know, you see them fumbling around here in the video, but basically down below, you also have something that regulates the electricity coming off of the battery. Okay, so the alternator on a battery can fry, the alternator on an engine can fry the battery if you don't regulate it. So that's what that thing is down below, right? So it's good. This boat has that. It's got a voltage reader there, and just keep going forward here. That's the on-off switch, by the way. Usually boats have for the battery banks a great big turn that bank on one, or bank one on, turn bank 2 on, or turn both the banks on, right? That's what that is. Okay, so then you have to communicate to the outside world when you're out there sailing. So you need a radio. So I'm just trying to fast forward the video to show you. Check this thing out. This is called a Furuno VHF radio, and so it's a transceiver. And look at the water damage on it. Okay, so it'd be just like you buying something that was used, taking it home and going, uh-oh, is this thing going to work or not? Yeah, this thing's got enough water damage and all this electronics that, yeah, it's 50-50, right? But these things are not cheap. This Furuno transceiver, I think they're still like $1,000, even these old ones, right? So it's you see something like this that is that damaged, it's disheartening, you know? And so what you're looking at here is more electronics, because lots of people don't want to have to steer the wheel every time they want to go in a certain direction. Imagine you're sitting in a boat and the wind and the waves are drifting you to the left and to the right, already. Well, that sucks because you have to readjust like a lot. That's what this does. It's called an autopilot. So the autopilot runs the boat in a straight direction, right? And see here, look at this. This is an older autopilot where you've got the course change, like move over this way, move over this way. It's kind of like an advanced joystick. Got it? right? And so I had no idea if this thing still runs, and it's old school, right? So that's another piece of electronics in there is the autopilot. And then you see over here, I've got an old radio. What's this thing called? I can't even see the brand name. I'll just brought me coffee. Thanks, Mom. And then it's farther up. Oh yeah. So this thing. Look at that. What's this screen with all these buttons and stuff and power? Well, that is called a radar. So how a radar works is it broadcasts out this signal that bounces off of things and comes back to a boat that then gives you an idea of what's ahead of you. So think of it like, you know, you look at Google Maps, right? See a great big map. This is the actual bouncing off of things that makes like a little map inside that screen. So you look inside there and it'll say, oh, island over here, boat over here. It just goes blip, right, off of things and makes this kind of like black and white or black and green thing to look at that tells you there's stuff around you. So it's really, really, really important to have that, because imagine being in the fog. Imagine a fog bank comes into General. RV lives in General Santos City, the other side of the planet from me. I'm in Mexico right now. But yeah, you imagine in Jinsan, you're out there in a boat in the middle of Jinsan Bay, and then all of a sudden the fog comes in, you're like, yeah, I can't see anything. That happens all the time to people that don't have a radar. Okay, so it's really important that that piece of equipment works. And you see how old school this is, right? Like all of this stuff now in the new age, you know, have a computer, a laptop, you go click, click, click between a bunch of screens. You go, okay, here's my radar. Here's my radio. So you could talk over the computer. Here is my sonar. Check this out. I'm going to fast forward a little bit here. Come on. Da, 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 da. GPS. Sorry, Mom?
They wouldn't have it all
It wouldn't have.
dependent on one thing.
Oh, no, I don't mean dependent on one thing. No, I just mean getting the data out from it all. You know,
Because
you need redundancy. You can't have everything go down. Totally. Yeah. So no, sorry. It's not the intent that everything would go to just one laptop and that would be your solution for everything. No. It's that you would expect that, you know, if you got a tablet and you're walking around in your boat, you go into the stern, you go click, 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 you can see the data from all of the things, right? It coagulates into one, or, you know, and that's the whole idea of a smart home is really that all of those devices are all independently running in your home, but from your phone, wherever you are, you're like, what's going on with the, you know, the lights in my garage? What's going on with the cameras? Same idea here, right? So check this out. This is how old school this is. GPS navigator. In the old days, the old days being GPS. My mom's like, wait, my mother
You
ran.
are getting old.
I am getting old.
You are getting old, because those were
Yeah, I know. Those
older.
were.
They're not as old as you.
Yeah, so I'm old enough that I was on fishing boats when it was just maps. They were just coming out with something called Loran C, which was like a radio beacon, and all the maps then had these cross arrows across them, right? And you had to figure out which area in the cross arrow and the numbers. You literally looked at numbers on a screen, and those numbers told you where to put your pinpoint on the map. That was the numbers that told you roughly where you were. So I'm old enough that, yeah, it was before GPS. But then what happened is this showed up. So this I'm guessing this GPS thing is probably, I'm gonna say probably 15 years old. I don't know, GPS navigator, GP7. Okay, I gotta go look it up. But anyway, so you gotta figure out if this thing still runs, right? And it probably doesn't output anything, you know, even though it's a GPS navigator. I would bet that you get.
On the screen, that's it.
It's on the screen. That's it. Yeah, you can't pull the data out into other things. So that means even though it has the data, you can't get the data on your tablet and put it in the stern. Plus, these old screens here, the problem with the screens is that their liquid crystal displays die over time. So all of this equipment, the sad part is there's thousands and thousands of dollars worth of equipment in that boat that the LCD panels have aged to the point where, great, the equipment might even turn on, but you can't see anything on the screen. So it costs more money to get everything ripped out and get the LCD panels upgraded than it does to just get new equipment. Got it? So in the future, having equipment that is independent, it's on, it's reading what it needs to read in, but then it outputs that data to other things is where the world is going for sure. This like right, it's where everything's going to go. Like look at this. What is this thing up above? Interface, and it's got that screen there. And look at the screen. You see around the edges there? The screen is all kind of, it's not the same color. It's kind of blacked out on the edges. That's sad. What that is a sonar. That is connected to a little device that's in the bottom of the boat, in the hull, what's called the hull of the boat, that actually goes boop, it sends off a signal down to the ocean floor and gets a signal back, and it shows you the depth coming up, what's ahead of you. Got it? So that's what a sounder does, right? It basically boop, down and comes back, and it tells you how deep things are, and usually gives some kind of alarm that says, hey dumbass, it's getting really shallow, you are going to hit the reef. That's what that's for. So that is an essential piece of equipment. Problem is you can see the LCD panels already busted, like so it's a ripped out item too. Okay, what else we got in this boat? Come on. Oh, I love this. This is whoever built this boat did a good job on this. Behind here it's a cabinet that has all of the outside LCD screens that are supposed to connect all that equipment. Okay. Problem is they have all died. They were left out in the sun. They were not covered up, and all of the outside pieces, the peripheral stuff, is all roasted. So, but the good news is like there's a panel there. So at least there's a starting point to probably rip all that stuff out and be able to put in a panel and start from there. Okay. So what else do we got for electronics? I think that's it to talk about for now. Engine, there was a light. Oh yeah. That's a farther picture back. Oh yeah, the batteries. Yeah, the batteries in this boat are roasted done. The smart sailboats of the future, right? Think about what's going to happen here in the next couple of years with those great big battery packs that are going to come with solar. And think about what that's going to do for installs like this. Like right now, they use deep cycle, usually 6-volt batteries, 2 of them into an array. If you're doing deep cycle, why use 6? I use 6 for the 6Ds. Okay, so there could be 8D batteries, which are the deep cycle batteries for the boats. You do 12. 12 volt is 1 pack, or you can do them in 2 volts, or the deep cycle, you can do 6 and 6 for a 12 volt system, right? But point is that the future is probably not going to be any of that. If you think about it, it's probably going to be an entire pack, right? Because the expectations of power in sailboats in the future is going to go up, because like a guy like me, right?
Well, it's just like the fan light stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They have enough panels that they're running, they're running, they're not putting gas stoves in the vans, they're putting induction hot plates.
Right.
They're using electricity rather than going propane for anything.
So, and exactly right. The battery packs of the future for the sailboats are going to be the drive engines for the boats, because the conversion for going from diesel and doing engines is happening right now as we speak. So a lot of the sailboats are, the new age sailboat owners are actually ripping out the old equipment. They're putting in an electric motor. They're running solar to these, much larger banks of batteries that you see the future being kind of like a Tesla car. You buy the boat and there's probably going to be something, you know, designed for the hull, goes down there in some spot where it can't get some, you know, waterproof, and now you get a great big battery pack that literally drives your engine plus everything and the high requirements in the boat. So this is the last one, Harvey, because I'm trying to basically give you a checklist. We're going to review this video later of, okay, what is all of the stuff that we have to replace out? This boat has a fair bit of water damage. You can see seeped up to here. This is underneath what's called the inverter. Okay, so this takes 12 volt. You know, you've got your scooter, right? It's 12 volt, right? I'm guessing. Yeah, you're on mute. That's okay. But yeah, it's 12 volt. So imagine you wanted to run your laptop off of your scooter over there. Well, you'd want to take your 12 volt from the battery that's charging, or sorry, from the engine that's charging the battery, and you'd want to convert it from 12 volt into 110, 120, right? And then you would be able to plug in just like a regular plug into the wall. That's what this thing does. So I have no idea why they installed this thing down in an impossible to reach place inside this boat. Somebody, I'm sure, had the reasons. But basically, that makes it so that you can plug in a toaster, right? Got it? Okay, so I can't think of anything I've missed right now because we got sonar, radar, or sounder, radar, VHS, another radio, long range. VHS is that long range radio? Is there a, I should know this one, Mom, but when you're trying to get around the world, short band, whatever, is that still a thing?
No.
Shortwave, that kind of gave me
No,
one,
and
right?
most of them are using satellite now,
Yeah.
satellite.
Oh, satellite, right. That's right. So the other one, RV, is this thing doesn't have like a satellite system on it, but a lot of boats do, right? And that's something I'm going to have to look at here as well, right? And oh yeah, the big one. Guess what? Sometime in the next, I'm guessing, year, there's going to be enough Starlink, those connections around the world. You know what that is? Elon Musk, Starlink, putting cellular internet everywhere, right? The low orbit satellites. Right now, if you ordered up Starlink, you would basically get, you know, this little square thing, or the old ones are like a round puck. You attach it to your house and you can now have internet. Great. But if you try to pick it up and put it on a sailboat and sail out in General Santos Harbor, yeah, good luck. You're not getting internet. But that's going to be changing. And imagine what a revolution that's going to be for things like the boating world, like the marine application of real-time internet connectivity is going to change the world, because now you're going to have digital nomads, people that like you and I, that we already work remote on computers, right? Imagine that. Like put all the gear into a sailboat, plug into Starlink, and I could come visit you. I could sail around the world and stream in Zoom and talk about stuff like we normally do, all from a. So I'm really excited about smartsailboat.com. I think it's a great idea. I think it's an awesome idea. So this is the first video. Can you please post this up to our brand new created YouTube channel, just so we can see what other people think and what the audience would be of the concept of retrofitting an older sailboat, ripping out all the gear, explaining what everything is, you know, what is Furuno, what is a sounder, right? And then the new age gear. And my ultimate goal is to get it so that I can walk around with a tablet and a backup tablet and another backup tablet and have a system that I could trust to go anywhere. Cool. Thanks, Harvey.